All right, hello and welcome to my video on Chapter 14. Death notification is what we're talking about this time. This has been, as we wrap up this semester, these are some heavy topics. And so some of you may have been in the situation where you have received a death notification, and some of you may have been given a death notification, especially if you've been in a pastoral role. That oftentimes is a function of a pastor. So obviously, I want you to, if you haven't, you get it. You can evaluate how you did based on some of this material. You can evaluate if you were the one that did it. You can evaluate how the person on the receiving end did, the deliverer of it, how they did. If you were y'all with me, whew, okay, yeah, and vice versa. Yeah, there you go. Um, I you know. Hmm. I was reading the textbook and it was like literally said it's extremely difficult, and I was like, yeah, yeah, I think like wow, yes. I mean, it needs to be said, but this is a very difficult and very painful thing to have to deal with, to have to do. And remember, I'm talking about it. You are as a professional pastor or counselor. We're talking. I'm most of the time going to be talking about. Uh, from the perspective of you are doing the death notification. That's not to negate the receiver of it, but this is training for us to do it appropriately. Um, so if it is done poorly, it can be damaging emotionally to the person on the receiving end of it. And what that does is complicates the grieving process, complicates the recovery process. It can literally add to the length of the process if it's done poorly. The information given needs to be given with empathy. I would say warmth. I don't think the textbook uses the word warmth. I would add warmth to that. Accuracy and calmness. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I put myself, I've never done a death notification. I put myself in the person's situation giving the death notification, and I'm like, okay, brace yourself because you have no idea what. And I think I'm getting ahead of myself. I think I'll talk about that later, but you have no idea what you're going to get, and you have to accept that. You have to just be like, okay, here we go. I mean, they may scream, yell, throw things, fall on the floor and throw up. I mean, you ball and a puddle of nothingness on the floor. I mean, you really just don't know what you're going to get. They may go, oh, okay, thanks for sharing. Have a good nice day. Which you're like, what? That's weird. But people, obviously, there's a myriad of different reactions, and all you can do is prepare yourself for an understanding that says, ain't no telling what I'm going to get, and whatever I get, I'll accept. You don't want to go there with a preconceived idea as to what you're going to get. Um, this is really sad to me and troubling that very few people that have actually given a death notification have had any formal training on it. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm thinking, whoa, time out. We need that needs to be part of the deal. They need to have been trained on it. And that takes me back to the point of if given poorly, it can do damage, right? So if we're not training people to do this and it's done poorly, it does damage, then there's a disconnect, pretty serious disconnect there. These are some of the things that are entitled that are included in or a part of a death notification. Again, I'm not here to read to you, but I want to talk about some of these things at least a little bit. I may not hit all of these. Remember that no two are the same. We kind of already said that. Yeah, we already really said that. How well you handle it. How well you handle it causes pain for the person and may cause difficulty in recovering, but it also may cause them to not accept, not go to counseling. It needs to be done in person. This is not something that you want to do over the phone. Obviously, there are circumstances where you might have to do that, and you really want to go in pairs, and this is for safety. And what if there's multiple people at the house when you show up that need to be informed and talked to? Um, I would highly emphasize and encourage for safety is important for people to go in pairs. Now, safety. So what are you saying, Professor Fairchild, that people are going to become violent? Not necessarily, but certainly they could. It may be a very small percentage that would, but if they did, I would want not to be alone. Um, So this pair, we're talking about doing it in pairs. These are some of the common combinations, and it could be almost anybody, but police officers, firemen, counselors. It could be that the most exposure you've had to this is what you've seen in the movies. Where some highway patrolman has to come and knock on the door and say, "I'm sorry, there's been an accident and your daughter is dead." Like, oh, whoa. Again, some of you may have been on the receiving end of that. And you can imagine, or if you've experienced it, how important it is for that to be handled correctly and gently. It needs to happen very quickly because you don't want this person to hear about it on the news or randomly hear about it from through the social media, like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, that's my daughter in that wreck, or that's my whatever, or my husband or my wife. So it needs to be done very quickly. That's an important part of it. It's not like you sit around and go, well, let's see, we'll schedule that for 6 o'clock this evening. No, you need to go now. Um, Information needs to be accurate, and that does not mean you have to have all the answers, right? So you can say to them, listen, I know we know very little right now as to what happened. But ma'am, your husband was found on Highway 19 at the corner of that and whatever, um, in the ditch, with what appears to be a bullet hole in his head, and he is deceased. He has passed away. He's no longer with us. I wouldn't do it exactly like that, but that's all you know. We'll say, well, how was he killed, and what was he killed with, and who did it, and I don't know. I'm telling you everything I know, and these are the facts. So I tend to, if there's a continuum of cushion and don't tell them the truth, um, to protect them from any pain, if that's one end of the continuum and the other end of the continuum is tell them the truth and don't worry about trying to protect them from the pain, I'm pretty far on the truth side. Um, but I just don't think I could tell someone their husband had been shot in the head. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that'd be easy, but later, aren't they at some point going to find out? And they're going to think, why the heck didn't that person tell me? They knew. You knew and you didn't tell me. Like, mm-mm. I don't know if I would have been on the receiving end of that. I'd be looking for you, calling you up and saying, grabbing you out. I wouldn't, not to hurt you, but I would be like, hey, why didn't you tell me? I want to know. Well, I don't care how painful it is. I want to know the truth. I want to know. It's not true for everybody, but I think people have a right to know what happened to their loved one. Obviously, age appropriateness is important. If you're dealing with a child, there's a great case study in there talking to a child actually who has a brain injury. And so, yeah, you have to be concrete and simple and specific and honest. And your daddy is no longer with us. He had a car accident. He's not breathing anymore. His heart's not beating. He can't open his eyes anymore. Your daddy loved you very much, but he is gone. He is now passed away. He's no longer alive. He's dead. Um, and helping a child understand that at whatever age and level of comprehension they are. Um, So when we talk about accuracy of information, not volume, but accurate, it's more important that you're accurate, even if you only know very little, that it is trying to talk a whole bunch about what happened and you don't really know. You don't want to speculate in a situation like that. Um, Plain language, direct, calm, be very warm, very compassionate, accept their reaction no matter what it is. We talked about that already a little bit. Follow up with them, give them your phone number and email address, and take down theirs and call them the next day and just say, hey, I want to touch base with you, and I'm the guy that came, and let you know I'm going to touch base with you and see how you're doing, and then debrief. And the debriefing is for the two people that went and did the death notification, and you debrief with one another, and that's literally, you just process it. You just talk about how you felt and what you said and what you think you did good and what you think you could have improved on, and that is also a very important aspect. So thank you for listening to my video. That is it on this one. This was a short one, so God bless you all, and thank you.